In this lesson, we will learn how the vlookup function works. We'll first see some simple examples and then I'll show you a practical application. In the current worksheet, we have the salespersons per region, the total sum of their sales, and when they started working for our company. I'll go to cell A14 and type in Chicago. As you can see, the name of the seller of this city appeared in the next cell. This was done with the vlookup function. What this function does is look for a value in the first column of the data area. In our case, is the area A1 to D9. Once it finds what we are looking for, then it displays the corresponding data of any column we want. In our example, it displays the data in the second column because we constructed the function that way. We could make it to show us another column. I will emphasize again that vlookup is looking at the first column, and that is something we cannot change. So the area we choose should have as a first column what we are looking for. This is essential to remember. Let's give it a try. I'll delete the contents of cell B14 containing the function and the content of cell A14 containing the data to be searched. In cell B14, I will now try to make the function as it was before. I will type here equals vlookup, and I will open a left parenthesis, and I will press Fx. Let's say that the value we search for will be in cell A14, so I will choose that. As a table, I have to choose the area I want and make sure its first column has the data I'm looking for. I'll choose A1 to D10. The third parameter determines which column I want the data from. I want to give the city as an input and get the name as an output. So the second column is what I want, and that's why I'll put 2 here. Finally, in the last parameter, I will put false to make a precise search. I will explain more about this parameter in a while, so just keep it that way. I'll press OK, and the vlookup function gives me an error, which means that the value we are looking for does not exist, and this is reasonable because the A14 cell is empty. I will insert the value New York here and hit enter. As you can see, I found the salesperson name for that city. I will do the same now in cell C14, and here I want for the city given to get the sales sum and not the salesperson name. I will type equals vlookup and open a left parenthesis, and I will press Fx here. The search value will be again in cell A14, and the table will be A1 to D10. But now I want the sales sum. That is the third column in the data area. I chose. So I will put in number 3. And as a last parameter, I will put false again because I want a precise search. The number I see now is the sales sum for New York. I will change the value in cell A14 to Los Angeles. And by pressing enter, you see that both values changed, and I have both seller name and sales city for that city for Los Angeles. So what vlookup does is to look for a value in the first column of the data area, and if the value is found, it returns the value of the other columns, whichever we choose. Let's suppose now that I want, instead of giving the city and taking one of the other data, to give the name of the seller and get, for example, the sales sum of the seller. The logic is the same, but I have to select the data area, so the first column is the names column. I will go to cell C15 and write equals vlookup and open a left parenthesis and press Fx. I will use cell B15 in which I will enter what I'm looking for, so I will choose that. And as a table, I will now use the area B1 to D10. By doing that, I made sure that the first column of the data selected is the column which I'm searching. Now, for this area of data, the sales sum is the second column. I repeat that for the current area, the first column is B, so C, which has the sales sum, is the second column. So as a column number, I will put 2. And finally, I will put false again here. I'll put the name Roth in cell B15, and I can see that the sales sum of this salesperson appeared. You may think that the way I used vlookup, I cannot get the city by giving the name. This is true. vlookup can return data only to the right of the search column, to the right of the column that is considered to be the first one. If I want data from the columns to the left, it can be done using other functions, or I can change the order of the columns, but it cannot be done with vlookup. Now, let's see how the last parameter that we chose so far to be false works. With this parameter being false, I order an accurate search. That is, if the search value exists, then vlookup will find it, and if it does not exist, vlookup will tell me that the search value cannot be found. With this parameter set to true, however, I can ask for an approximate search. Let's see how this works. I will go to cell B14 and I will press Fx, and I will change the last parameter to true to have an approximate search. Notice that the function now works incorrectly because the returned name is wrong. For Los Angeles, the correct name is LeBlanc. The reason for this is that in order for the approximate search to work, the data in the first column should be sorted in ascending order. If it is not, then the results will be completely different from what it should be. So I'll select a cell in column A, and from the sort button I will make an ascending sorting. Notice that the vlookup function in cell B15 is now working properly. Now let's see what will happen if I enter a city that does not exist in the list. I will insert in cell A14 Kansas City, and I'll hit enter here, and vlookup gives me the salesman of Houston. This happened because if Kansas City existed in the list, and since the list is sorted, it would have been between Houston and Los Angeles. Although K is closer to L, vlookup always uses the previous value, so the approximate search went to Houston. Notice that in cell C14 we have an error telling us that the value does not exist. This is because vlookup there has false as the fourth parameter. That is, it does a precise search and not an approximate one. Maybe this example does not make much sense, but the approximate search will look much better now in the next example. I just wanted to show you how it works in alphanumerical values. I will go to sales 2 sheet. In this sheet, the first column is the sales sum. So I can give a number to look for and get the name of the seller who has achieved these sales. I will go to cell C11 and type equals vlookup and open left parenthesis and hit Fx here. I will enter the search value in cell A11, so I will choose that. And as a table, I will put the area A1 to D9. Now, what I want as a result of this search is the name of the seller who is in the third column, so I will put 3 here, and I will put true to the fourth parameter to say that I want an approximate search, and I will press OK. Before proceeding, I want you to notice that the numbers in the first column are sorted in ascending order. As I said before, the approximate search will not work if the data in the search column is not sorted. In the cell A11, I will put this number here. And because that number exists exactly as I entered it, vlookup returned the name Williams. I will now enter the number 200,000. As you can see, it gives me the name of the previous value. The logic is the same as before. If the amount 200,000 existed in the table, then according to the sorting, it would be between the third and the fourth row. Although the number in the fourth row is closer to 200,000, vlookup will select the previous value. It will always select the previous value, and that's why the seller name is from that number. I will finish this video with a practical example of using vlookup. I'll go to the detailed sales sheet, and let me explain what I want to do here. There are some sales made, and there is a city for each sale. I would like to have the salesperson name in column G. Since I have the names associated with the cities, the vlookup function can do the job I want. I'll go to cell G2, and I will type equals vlookup and open left parenthesis and hit Fx here. The search value is in cell D2, so I will select that. My table is in the sales sheet, but this is not a problem. I will click on the sheet and I will select area A1 to D10, and now I will press F4 on the keyboard to make sure that the reference is absolute. That way I can use it in a while to fill the rest of the cells. I will click on the third parameter, and here I will put the number 2 because the name of the seller is in the second column, of the area I chose. The fourth parameter will be false to ask for an exact search, and I will press OK here. As you can see, the name of the seller appeared, and I will use the fill handle here for a few cells down. Now I have the corresponding names straight away. There are 2 things you need to remember about vlookup. The first is that the search it can be only happen if in the first column of the area. And the second thing is that we can choose what VLOOKUP will return from the columns to the right of the first column. At this point, I have reached the end of this lesson. I hope it helped. Thank you for watching.